Super Bowl Sunday is on the horizon, and you know we had to get back together to break this down. My friends, it is, I think, the consensus top two teams in the league going toe-to-toe, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. One thing that I've been waiting to tell you guys that my wife and I have been really laughing about is how the Super Bowl is marketed to like the Gen Pop. It's like when you go into a grocery store, it's like, buy your snacks for the big game. Where will you be watching the big game?
It's true.
Secret recipes for the big game.
Yes, yeah. And it's just for the Gen Pop, it's just the big
like
game.
BuzzFeed. Yeah, the BuzzFeed for the big game.
Yes.
Well, I feel like it's also, not to get all marketing on it too, it's like not everyone can say Super Bowl. So they're like, what should we call it that like will equate people to think of Super Bowl? It's like the big
That's
game.
true.
The
Yeah,
big
because
game.
it's trademark, right?
Trademark, baby.
Where do you
Roger
guys at?
Goodell's not losing money to the
No.
mom and pop
No.
shop selling
No.
chips.
No,
come on.
no. Where are you guys at on the Super Bowl party? Like, are you like, oh, I love it, I want to go to like a huge, like someone's having a ton of people over? Are you, no, I want to sit and watch the game and I don't want to hear? Because the risk you run into with Super Bowl parties is most of the people there don't care about watching the game. So,
I'm with you.
yeah,
They
so if
ask
you're
too many
somebody
questions
like us,
about the game, or they're just talking about the commercials. Like, I'd rather just watch football. Like,
Yeah.
I like the commercials, but I'd prefer to watch football.
And I rather also, I guess maybe it's just old age. Like, I don't want to put on jeans. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to sit in my tights and I want to eat an absurd amount of chicken wings and pizza and feel physically uncomfortable and suck it back with some Radlers and call it a day and walk.
And not have to drive anywhere later.
Totally. And walk 4 feet to my bed and sit there with a Bud Light while I'm watching the recaps and then put the Bud Light down and go to sleep.
Sounds like a perfect night.
That's actually what I'm doing, verbatim, word for word.
If you're going to host a Super Bowl party, and I know not everybody is able to do this, but if you're going to host a Super Bowl party, I think you need to have two separate areas. You know, like maybe in the kitchen, you're like, okay, this is where the people who don't give a shit about the game are going to hang out, like in here. And you can eat all the food you want and you can talk about whatever you want. And I'm not saying there has to be complete and utter silence in the space where the game is on, but like don't come in there and distract from people who actually care and want to watch, because this is going to be a good football game. These are two really good teams.
But what do you constitute as a party though? Like, are we talking more than 5 people?
Oh, I've been to Super Bowl parties.
Like we're talking parties. Okay.
Yeah, party. Like I'm having my family over here, and it's like there'll be chit chat, but we're all here to watch the game.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some people are like, let's have a huge bash and invite all these people over, and everybody, let's have a potluck, and like everybody makes like a party out of it. And I would go as far as to say most of those people don't care about the outcome of the actual game or watching the actual game. So you need to have two separate, you need a social area and a football watching area.
And it's even better if you can have like 2 separate TV rooms. So you can have like whatever you want on the other channel. You can switch to the halftime
one's
show.
Playing the Good Doctor. And
one's playing the Good Doctor. The other one's playing the actual game.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of the people are just going to be there for Rihanna. So it's all good.
Yeah.
And
Riri.
I'm here for Riri. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm about the Riri halftime show.
If she doesn't play Pond to Replay, I'm gonna be a little bit upset.
I don't know if she will. I think the first song that's like I think everyone's riding with, because you can actually bet on the first song that Rihanna's gonna play, and I think everyone's riding with Umbrella right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see that. Just I personally, I want Pond to Replay. So
You're
whatever
like,
petition I gotta start.
Yeah,
personal request. It's your first single, Rihanna. Let's go.
No, she's gonna be great. Actually, to be honest, like I'm not as excited about it as other Super Bowl halftime shows in the past, but she'll be fun. She'll be entertaining.
Yeah, it's
like
not
what?
Prince.
Like last year's?
Last year, I was more pumped about last year's going into it. Like last year's was awesome, but it's like
that was the Weekend, right?
No, last year's was like Eminem, Dr. Dre, like 50 Cent. Like I think Eminem could have sung some cooler songs.
The last hanging upside down was really strange.
That's from the music video.
I know,
Yeah.
but like at his age and like just the way that his body looks, it just didn't seem right.
Gravity wasn't working well for him.
Yeah, it
on
wasn't his
that.
friend
Yeah.
that day.
I will say
Yeah.
Lady Gaga was kick-ass too. Like,
Oh yeah,
that was a
I
pretty
thought-
epic
I
one.
also thought the weekend was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the weekend was
Yeah.
good considering like that was a COVID era too. There wasn't
Yeah,
as many
that was-
fans in the stands either. Like he was
no,
catered.
No.
Or
You
was
forget
there-
it was in Florida.
Ah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, there was
so
COVID.
There was
didn't hit
tons of
Florida.
fans.
yeah. COVID never happened in Florida, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the actual game. Like I said earlier, I think the consensus is these are the two best teams in the NFL going toe to toe. I love this matchup, and I'm just gonna throw my personal bias out on the table here. Go Birds. I'm Eagle Green all day. I'm so sick of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm so sick. Like, I know he's probably a perfectly nice guy, but I'm so sick of just the week in and week out gushing over the greatest athlete that's ever walked the face of the earth, Patrick Mahomes. I'm so tired of hearing about it. And I honestly believe that the Eagles are favored, and I think that's the right call because I think the
For
Eagles
sure.
are the better team
Yeah.
here.
I think top to bottom, their offensive line is ridiculous. The
Mhm.
plays that especially Jason Kelsey's making off that line. I love seeing the Kelsey the brothers go at it.
I
but
will say Jason's also my favorite Kelsey. I think if we were to
For
pick
sure.
a favorite brother, he's definitely
Like,
the one.
imagine having a beer with either of those guys. I'd pick Jason. He just seems
Yeah.
like more of like let's have a beer together kind of guy. But
Well,
I mean,
it's because Travis has that Kansas City Chief arrogance about him, that unlikable
Yeah.
Kansas City Chief arrogance about him.
it's like he goes to
Yeah.
a private school and Jason goes to like a public school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
kinda how I look at
he's
those
one
two.
for the people. He knows
Yeah.
how to cater
Jason's
to the
a
people.
man of the people.
Yeah. No,
Like have a good old steak. Just hangs out in the backyard.
He's got like mustard in his beard or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's, like chewing back hot dogs. Yeah. He'd be a person you'd want at your Super Bowl party who's there to
Oh,
like
for sure.
watch the
Yes.
game. He's not watching The Good Doctor in the other room.
I'll bet you that dude can put away light beer like nothing you've ever seen.
Oh man, Coors Light. He's
Oh,
down in that.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2-4 in like 2 hours. But like,
Oh, yeah.
I love the Jalen Hurts story because in college he kind of got like thrown around. He got pulled out of the national championship game, which is also, that's tough to come back through. So I like the whole story of how he's come up this year, especially.
Yeah, no. And I'm with you though, Rob, I'm so over Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, I'm over him. I'm over his brother. I'm over his wife. Like the Mahomes
I'm
family.
over the media
everything.
just like God, I'm so tired of
Oh,
hearing
I
about
know.
how
Yeah.
the greatest athlete in the history of professional sports, Patrick Mahomes. It's
But
like
he's not
No.
He could have been.
like
He could have been a professional baseball player. Like
Yeah,
all
and
that
it's
stuff.
like but if you look at for me, Brian, like you brought up the offensive line. To me, it's the defense. This Eagles defense is nasty all over the field. And you think back to the last time the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl and what happened with the Buccaneers, and you're literally watching film on that this week. And what did they do? And the Eagles have the same type of defensive line that can rattle Mahomes and get him off his spot and get him rushing and get him panicking and get him making stupid throws. And I think you didn't really notice it a lot this season, but I do think the absence of Tyreek Hill is going to be really noticeable here. It's just going to be like a huge weapon they've had in the past that they're going to need at this point that they won't have. So
he can't just chuck it down the field. You know what I mean? Like he's got Travis Kelsey for the checkdowns and the through the middle stuff, but you can't just throw it deep and hope Tyreek's down there anymore. That's not going to happen in this game, especially with even the Eagles secondary. Like I think they beat the Chiefs in every part of defense.
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't know what else there is to say really. I think it's one of the, and this is what makes it so exciting, is it's just like these are two top tier teams. I think the Chiefs defense showed out really well against the Bengals, but I don't see that. I just don't see that happening here. The Bengals are down 3 starting offensive linemen. You're not going to get another Chris Jones performance. At least I don't think you will, like you got in the AFC Championship game. Barring Jalen Hurts not being 100% healthy and not having his best game, and even then, I just don't see a way that the Chiefs can win, but I don't see a way that they go out and like roll. And I think the Eagles are the favorite for a reason.
So here's a debate that I was having with colleagues today, actually, is that if the Eagles even played anyone of significance, like, do we think that everyone that they had up until here was kind of more of a walk in the park, and now they're facing a real team? Like their schedule wasn't
pretty good. The Vikings were.
You take that back.
They won 13 games.
So that's the joke I made today. It's like the toughest opponent they had was basically Kirk Cousins.
Listen, listen.
And they won a playoff game. I mean, it was the quarterback.
There was a stint though when they had like 3 weeks of like, you're looking at the schedule and you're like automatic win. Like it's more than 3 weeks.
I mean, you
probably.
get there. It's like the Raptors. KD went down. Who the other guy went down? Klay Thompson. You play who you can play.
And I know the situation with Brock Purdy happened in the NFC Championship game, but that Niners defense is no joke, man. They're like the number one ranked defense all year, and they struggled with them in the first half, and then got their game going in the second half, and it was good night Irene the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. That's why you want the bye. That's why you want to come in first place, so you can have the easiest road to the Super Bowl. That's what makes getting that bye so crucial and important.
To DVD's point, though, the NFC is pretty trash. So it's like it kind of doesn't matter where you're playing. It's pretty easy road.
Yeah. It's not that competitive, but it was an interesting. Someone brought it up today, and I was like, I guess you're kind of right. Like they did have a little bit of a smoother path, I would say.
So I'm going Eagles. Bryan, you going Eagles?
Yeah.
DVD, you going Eagles?
I'm going Eagles, even though I went against you guys a couple picks ago, and
it worked out for you.
Worked out
for you.
Just saying. But I'll be running with the Eagles this time.
All right, we had a major week of news across the National Football League. The biggest story, without question, is Tom Brady walked to his favorite part on the beach and retired.
And somebody's selling sand.
And then posted
the weirdest picture.
A selfie in his underwear.
Yeah.
Does anyone know the context about that? Because somebody sent that around our office, and I was like, I'm not sure. Like I sent that meme of like that Muppet that was like, what the hell's going on here?
Julian Edelman and Gronk, because those two guys are known for being like thirst traps on Instagram. This is a whole like running joke that they have. So like Edelman would always post like a topless photo. And I think Brady, now that he's single, he wants to get part of that game.
Okay. No, thank you. I don't understand. I was like, I don't get this. Why is he posing like this?
I don't know about you guys, but I was genuinely surprised by the announcement. I thought like everything that happened with the breakup with Giselle, and I thought, there are a bunch of teams out there that could plug him in right now. There's the Niners, there's the Raiders, there's the Dolphins, there's the Jets. Like there's 4 teams I just named you that could plug him in right now, and he could be a pocket passing quarterback and probably get into the playoffs next year. And it goes to show you that year in Tampa wore him down, and he's like, I'm over it. I can't do this anymore. And I also found it curious that like when he posted on Instagram and he said, thank you to everyone who supported me, he posted a bunch of photos, and Giselle is in every single one of the photos that he posted.
I saw that.
Maybe there's a hope for love. Maybe there's a hope for rekindling.
No, I wouldn't read too much into it. That's like the mother of his children. She was there for the ride. Like I feel like if he
were in all the photos.
Yeah, it's like his I feel if he like cropped her out, it'd be very suspect and kind of shady.
Be a different story.
That'd be very shady.
It's like you threw your marriage away for 8 and 9 season and getting blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. Like, really? Like at that point, like, why not? Like, and I know towards the end of the season, it was like, well, the Niners have Brock Purdy. Like the Niners don't have a quarterback now. Like they literally don't have a quarterback. Like Brock Purdy won't be ready to go to start next season. They've already said they're done with Garoppolo, and the kid they drafted, whose name is currently escaping me,
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Who knows what he's going to be? So it's like you could literally plug Tom Brady into that offense right now and they'll win their division. Yeah. So it's like, what? I was shocked.
I mean, I wasn't, because I think if you go back 4 episodes when we were all doing our Tom Brady prediction.
You did call this. I remember that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
another one for
Nostradamus on this pod lately.
I'm basically the Simpsons, just like predicting all of the things. I think it's everything like both of you guys have been saying. He doesn't want to get hurt anymore. He's getting old. He's got a ton of money on the table, and now he's just like a young-ish still for sure. Maybe old by football standards, but like eligible bachelor, and he's just gonna hang out with hoes and drink beer and have Super Bowl parties at home because he doesn't want to drink and drive, and that's it.
And make like $50 million from Fox every year. When does that kick in?
So
that, like, right away?
He said on Colin Cowherd's show yesterday that he will start his broadcasting career during the 2024 season. So he's going to take next year off, and then they're going to kick Greg Olsen out of the booth. Because
Greg Olsen's pretty good. I like him in there.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he enjoys the Super Bowl on Sunday because he's done after.
Well, I hope he replaces Tony Romo. I hate listening to him on the broadcast.
Everybody's mad at Tony.
I like Tony. Tony's funny.
He just has like a seizure every time the's like a nice play. Just
that's what I find funny. Like, I don't think he's actually funny. I think just his mannerisms. I'm like,
for sure.
Here we go, Jim. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
And like recently, he's been calling plays that are just way off to what's going on in the script, and it's pretty funny.
And did you see that story that came out that CBS had like an intervention with him, and they were like, we need you to be more like, apparently ahead of this season, CBS had like an intervention with him and was like, you need to do more research. Like you need to be more prepared when you're in the booth calling games. And he didn't do it because he's too busy working on his golf swing.
Really?
He's a pretty good golfer.
Yeah, he is a pretty good golfer.
You need to do more research.
Speaking of pretty good golfers, Aaron Rodgers wins the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
That was very exciting.
And then earlier today on Pat McAfee announces, God, this guy, I'm so like, just get him out of my sight. Earlier today, he announces on the Pat McAfee show that he's going on a darkness retreat. Are you guys familiar with what a darkness retreat is?
No, I've seen Black Mirror, and I think there's like in the later season, the guy that plays Foreman from that 70s show, he goes on like a spiritual retreat. I'm envisioning something like that.
I'm just picturing him sitting in a dark room, literally, for like 4 days. I think, isn't that what it is? You just sit there with your thoughts.
It's probably going to cost $50,000.
Apparently, you're in a dark room for 4 days, and there's a like little slot where they like pass you your food, and I assume a bathroom is in there too, so you have to go to the bathroom in the dark,
feel around for it.
Yeah. And which raises all sorts of questions for me, but we don't need to get into that right now.
That sounds horrendous.
And he's going in there to be alone with his thoughts to decide, like, can you just
for 4 days?
What drives me nuts.
But it's like, isn't that just proof alone that the Packers should just trade him, cut him, just that?
No, before he lowers his stock anymore, trade him now.
Yeah, just shut the hell up and go do whatever it is. If you want to go on a darkness retreat, do a darkness retreat. I don't care, but just shut the hell up. Come back and say, I had some time. It's just all about being weird, and it's just like, get him, like, and everyone's like, be careful what you wish for. You're asking for a season of Jordan Love. I don't care. I don't want to see this man anymore. I don't want to listen to this man anymore. Go away. Yeah. Go away.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest. When I was reading that, like, because it was Aaron Rodgers, it didn't shock me, but I'm like, if any other player in the NFL did this, I would think they need to go have like an evaluation for CTE.
Could you imagine like if Ben Roethlisberger was like, I'm going on a darkness retreat? And it's like, what? Like just like a brawny kind of like rugged guy. He's like, I'm going on a
Brian, what you just said is the consent. Like, you're not the only one that thinks that. Like, he says it, so you're all like, okay, weird. You're weird, so you do weird things. Like, that's literally everyone's opinion.
Yeah,
my brother. The ayahuasca.
My brother sent me that the Instagram post. He's like, I think this man needs Jesus. I'm like, I think he's trying to actually avoid Jesus. Like, that's a conscious choice.
He believes he is Jesus.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Before I hopped on with you guys, I was listening to Peter King talk about whether they were going to trade him or not, and he was saying that All signs are definitely pointing to him not being a Packer next year. And a huge reason for that is because they believe, and I think a lot of us believe, that a huge reason why he struggled so much with the new rookie wide receivers last year is because he just wasn't around in the offseason. He's like, I'm not getting with these guys all offseason. And signs are pointing to he's not going to do that again. And I think the Packers as an organization are like, okay, well, we don't really want to, like, do we want to pay this guy all this money to have another season like we had last year, especially now when you've got teams like the New York Jets who are ready to move heaven and earth to bring him in potentially and give you, right? Yeah. So
that makes me mad. I don't want to see that.
Where do you think he's going?
I have a feeling it's the Jets, but that's just my luck.
Now that Tom retired, the Raiders have like leapfrogged the Jets as like the front runner to land him.
Or the Bucks. I can see him going to the Bucks. Anywhere that will take him, really. And like a lot of teams will.
But he also doesn't have many years left. Like his intent is to win a Super Bowl. So who's going to take him and then also build around him if they don't already?
I mean, I don't think it's the Jets. I'd rather stay in the NFC if I was trying to pull that off.
Guys, you're forgetting a very important part here. And I think we all forget it because I think the discussion around Aaron Rodgers is very much like, where's he going? Like, where's he choosing? He's not choosing anywhere.
Yeah.
The Packers control him. So, like, the Jets are the most appealing team at this point, in my opinion, because the Jets have the draft capital, the money, and the assets to make a deal that would interest Green Bay. And I guess they've done business with Las Vegas in the past, like with the Devontae trade. So maybe that's one that Aaron might not kick up about as much, is going to Vegas. But to me, those are the two front runners, and it's looking more and more like I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be in another uni next year, and I think he'll play maybe 2 seasons with that team, and then he'll retire. He's not retiring this year because he's not going in the Hall of Fame of the same year as Tom Brady. And people are like, "Oh, does that really matter?" It's like, yeah, no. Aaron Rodgers has thought about that, and he will play another year to avoid that.
Be a big fish in a small pond. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was like I felt so bad for Ben Roethlisberger when Brady decided to retire last year, and I was like, "No, don't do this to Ben. Don't do this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also he can come back from his wellness retreat, darkness retreat, and say he's retiring. Like, that's also an option too. But I don't know if I don't think so either, only because there's no path forward for the Brady thing. But then, like, there's no path forward for him. Like,
I think, I don't know.
Like, if he retires, what is he going to do?
I don't know. Go live in the woods somewhere. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like,
I feel like he likes the spotlight too much, not to. I agree because of the Brady thing, but also more so to be like, okay, so I'm not going to be on TV as like a commentator. Who knows if he's going to be? Maybe he'll be on a panel for ESPN.
If you took him and plugged him on, like, Vegas with Devontae again, with like some of the other weapons that they have, I think he can do well. I think the Packers is currently constituted. I've been saying it all year. If you decide to continue down the path with Aaron Rodgers, you need to change the way your team is constructed. And I don't think they're going to do that. So you have to move on with him. And I think at his age, I think if you plugged him in with veteran, talented guys, he could do well.
Especially Devontae. Like, they already have a relationship.
They've clicked pretty well.
So I think he's going to get traded, and I think it's going to happen before the draft. And I think it's probably going to be with like either the Jets or the Raiders, because those are the only two teams that have enough assets that would entice Green Bay to make the deal.
And Hunter Renfrew would be a nice little addition for him as well. He could trust those names at least. So
yeah, and then Derek Carr will go to the Jets. And that'll be it.
I would love that. That would be that's my dream right there. Let's get Derek Carr over here. Let's get Kirk Cousins in our division. I want everybody.
If you're him though, take the divisions into account. So you go to Vegas. You've got the Chiefs, who, for all intents and purposes, will win the division again next year. So you're either a second playoff, so you're a wild card team, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got the Broncos, who Sean
Suck.
Payton is the new head coach.
I don't think that's going to make a difference.
No, but I don't think they'll be as bad as they were this year.
Yeah, I can see them winning like maybe 4 more games, but I just think Russ is locked. But we can get past that.
and you got.
Is he going to throw more TD passes than toilets in his house next year?
Yeah,
he better.
I think he tied the toilets this year.
And you got the Chargers, who didn't fire their coach, but just brought in Kellen Moore as the new offensive coordinator with Herbert.
Very strange
like
move.
That's a tough division. That's a tough division. Yeah. And then you if you go with the Jets, you've got the Bills, who we're gonna let Bryan rant on them in a minute, but the Bills will be at or near the top of the division next year. You have the Patriots, who just brought back Billy O, who I think will improve the defense. And then you have the Dolphins, who with Tua were a playoff team. Like those are like both of those teams, like those are 2 tough divisions you're going into.
I don't know if Tua will be back next year, to be honest.
No. So that's the wild card with the Dolphins. But I still think, but it's kind of like, it's like either way, like the Bills will be a good team again next year. They'll be added near the top of the division. The Patriots were like this close to making the playoffs this year with frickin' Matt Patricia as their offensive coordinator. So you bring Billy O back, and that should help Mac Jones a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, these are 2 tough divisions. Or do you get over yourself, stay in Green Bay, where you got the Bears, who are going to probably draft a quarterback back with the first overall pick, who's going to be a rookie and probably not come in and light the league on fire. You're going to be the Dolphins, or the Vikings, excuse me, who had the luckiest season of all time with winning 1-score games and will definitely not be a 13-3 team next year. And you've got the Lions, who played really well and I think will be good again next year, but they're still the Lions. So
I think they'll be number 2 in that division next year.
Yeah.
We shall see. But yeah, I would stay with Green Bay if I was him, but I just don't think Green Bay wants him there at the organization.
No, I don't think so. I think he's overstayed his welcome, especially in the past 2 years.
So I think
it's
they're
just
his
like off-field semantics. Like you can't put up with that forever.
He's an asshole.
He is.
I've had enough of him.
I said it much nicer than you did. But
yes, he's an asshole. Like to go away.
I mean, I'd like for him to like if I was just being a selfish fan and wanted to win another Super Bowl, it'd be great for him to stay in Green Bay. And to your point, Rob, like blow shit up and make sure you get some good players. But yeah,
DVD. Can I just play devil's advocate? Because I see a lot of Packer fans that say what you just said. This guy has got into the playoffs the last this year was essentially a playoff game against the Lions. And then the 3 years before, choking.
Oh, for sure.
Awful. Like it'd be one thing if in any of those games it was like, oh, the defense like really let him down. And to a certain degree, last year against the Niners, you could make the argument.
I was gonna say you can make a little bit of a case for the defense, but the Jimmy G curse also played a factor.
But he still stunk.
So that's what, he
still stunk. Like you could make a special teams argument last year, but he still stunk. He stunk in the NFC Championship game against the Buccaneers.
He historically has stunk in that game.
Yeah, he stunk the Niners stunk against the Niners the year before. You go back to when they went to the NFC Championship game against Atlanta, stunk. Like the last time he played well in a big deal playoff game was played really well. Was like Aaron Rodgers virtuoso quarterback was
2011.
2015 against the Cardinals. When he threw the Hail Mary. Actually, no, not true. Not true. 2016 against the Cowboys in Dallas.
I mean, didn't he win the MVP like last year?
Yeah, he went. But Bryan.
Well, but that's what I'm like exactly though. That's what I was gonna say. Like the guy also too on paper is one of the best quarterbacks. So like saying he stunk, I think is a little bit of an exaggeration. Maybe
stunk,
chokes,
stinks. He stinks in the big games.
Playoffs. Oh yeah, when it really matters.
MVP, Bryan, is a regular season award. You when the game is on the line and we need you to make the big throw, you can't do it. There's the famous play against the Buccaneers a few years ago where he has a clear running lane to run into the end zone to tie that game up, and he forces the ball to Devontae for like the third straight time.
Yeah.
And it's just he's a trust me, I watch Toronto Maple Leafs hockey every night. I know what regular season greatness looks like, okay? This guy is a regular season all-star and a playoff choke artist. That's what he is.
Yes.
Goodbye. I'm tired of looking at you. You had to beat the Lions to get into the playoffs this year. You stunk. And not only do you stink, at least if you stunk and you were gracious about it, I'd go, hey, he's a good guy. Keep him. Come on. Retire a pack, whatever.
Yeah.
No, you stink and you're an asshole. So get out of here.
I thought Bryan was supposed to go on a rant, but I guess it was Rob. I appreciate it.
Anyways, okay, quickly, we got two things to get here quickly. One, Sean Payton is the new head coach of the Broncos. The only reason why I wanted to call this out is because it right away in his introductory press conference, he was already being asked questions about his quarterback having his own staff and his own office and his own parking spot.
And he's not aware
Sean
of that.
Payton, he answered it as diplomatically as he could. But you could tell he was like, "Yeah, no, that's
that's
over.
About to stop." Yeah, I just feel I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go, and I've been hearing he's getting paid upwards of maybe $20 million a season, which is outrageous. Because I know what.
Hey man,
what
the new owners, the new Walmart owners, they can afford it.
Yeah, that's crazy for a coach, and I don't think it's going to be the turnaround that everybody thinks right away. At least, Russell Wilson has damaged himself with a lot of these players.
Yep.
Sean, what is your opinion of taking a 7-hour flight to London, England, and working out for 5 of those 7 hours in the aisleways while everyone else on the team is trying to sleep? And then not only doing that, getting off the plane and telling everybody that that's what you do.
He's almost just as bad as Aaron.
He's worse. He's worse.
No, they both live in a different universe. Like that.
Russell
is
in the weirdest of universes, though.
Yeah.
Like
that's
his Subway commercial. How can you film that and be like, "This is cool, man. This is what I should be like"? That was the most awkward commercial I've ever seen.
Dude, he got booed week in and week out.
Own stadium.
Yeah, he got booed week in and week out every week this year, and at the end of every press conference, the team's lost like 7 in a row. He's like, Broncos country, let's ride. It's like he doesn't live in what we call planet Earth. Like I don't know where he's living, but listen, I understand the power of positive thinking and putting good things out into the universe, and I think that's really important. But at a certain point, you got to be like, we're terrible, so I should try something else.
We got to own it, right? That's the thing. You're right.
Not get off the plane and tell everybody that you spent 5 of the 7-hour flight doing jumping jacks in the aisleway. What would you do?
I also call bullshit. No way. Like no way you're going through turbulence and you're just like, oh, like doing fucking curls and like high knees and shit.
You're sitting there in your seat and you're trying to watch a movie on your iPad, and every 2 minutes, Russell just goes by you, just
doing like dashes, like 40 yard sprints.
That's why I kind of don't believe it, because one of the offensive linemen would be like, dude, if you keep doing this, you're gonna get lit up all game. Like I'm not protecting you at all.
Yeah, somebody pick him up and grab him and go, sit down.
Yeah.
I hope it was like an 85-year-old little stewardess who's just like, Russell, get back to your seat. Like, don't make me tap the
Harry Potter.
Yeah, don't make me tap the seatbelt sign.
Yeah, like you're over there and like you're like, because that was like halfway point of the season, so like guys are like banged up and stuff. So you're like icing your shoulder or whatever, and there's Russell.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually happened.
And then he went to throw no touchdown passes.
Yeah.
And like, sure, do another 5 hours of fucking jumping jacks.
And
Doesn't
it's like,
do
London,
anything.
this is what football is. Look at this. It's like, this is the worst example of football.
Yeah.
Okay, in closing, we're going to do a deeper dive into this next week in our season review show, but we've got a few minutes here, Bryan, and you haven't had the opportunity yet, so I would like for you to I just went on a passionate rant about how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. So I would like for you to do the same with respect to the Buffalo
I feel like
Bills.
I'm always in the middle of these rants. Like,
I don't even know, because like I've chilled in it since the divisional round, and I've just kind of zenned myself into this. Like I just pretended football didn't exist for a while.
I'll say this: what's the one thing?
Oh, I think
we already know the answer to this. What's the one thing that you are like, this cannot be the case next year?
Devin Singletary, we don't need you on this team. That's the first thing. The running back needs to be addressed, because without a run game, you have no other game. You can't do run play passes. You can't do any of the trick plays. You just need to have a run game in order to be successful. Number two, you need another wide receiver. Gabe Davis is not the guy. All these other, like we have Stephon Diggs, and that's it. Like it makes me, watching Cincinnati, I was so sad because they've got 3 top wide receivers and we're throwing to one guy. So it's really tough when they triple team him the whole game. That's number 2. Number 3, I think most importantly, I want all coaches fired. I'm so sick of this Sean McDermott carousel of bullshit.
Yeah.
He's apparently a defensive guru. Did you see any defensive guru happening in any of these freaking games?
Yeah.
Like, especially all year, the defense was so weak on the run. They had nothing. Pass protection was horrible in the secondary. Leslie Frazier as well. I've always spoken highly of Leslie Frazier, but this year I don't know what happened. He just crumbled. The defense, like I know the Von Miller thing, whatever. He's pretty old, so he didn't make a huge difference on that line. It blew my mind, some of the play calling, especially with Ken Dorsey. It's your first year, and all you do is throw the ball 50 times a game. Like I actually blame him more for the running backs having the season they did. He never gave them a chance. They were just getting 5 carries a game. What do you think's going to happen with 5 carries a game? It blows my mind that's what they think. That's how you can call a season. It makes me so mad. I haven't thought about this in a while, so I'm getting a little.
You fired him back up, yeah.
Yeah.
DVD and I can relate to being fans of a small market team that just like I'm so sick of this. Like the Packers let Big Mike hang around like 2 years longer than he should have been there, and I'm so sick of this. Like, well, they're not going to fire Sean McDermott because that's not what the Bills do. It's like, why?
Why?
Yeah. Fire him right now.
Yeah.
Like we have Josh Allen, we have a really good core. If you address the offensive line and you address the run game just for now, this could be a Super Bowl team right away. Yes. So that's a great opportunity for a coach to come in. It's also up to Brandon Beane. He's got to get off his ass and get an offensive line, because this is outrageous. Watching Allen in the pocket, he has 2 seconds and then make him throw 60 times a game. I don't know. It's a broken record for me all year, but it's the same shit over and over again with McDermott.
Yeah, I just find that so frustrating. It's like it's not working. Like listen, he seems like a really good guy. Seems like a perfectly nice man.
Coach, good.
I like how that's always your preface. I'm sure they're perfectly nice people, but they suck, and I hate them.
He's probably a nice guy. But
just because you're a nice
Patrick Mahomes, probably a nice guy. Hate him
well, that's
too.
why.
Sounds like a fraud.
Not to stir this up again, but that's why I go so hard at Aaron, because Aaron's an asshole. Like he does though. He seems like the way he handled the DeMar Hamlin thing was like incredible, and he's just like.
Yeah,
he does, and he always is really like, you can tell he like really cares about his players. But like this is an offensive league, and it's like offense wins in the National Football League. And like if you're not going to like, you have what many people consider as a top 5 quarterback in this league, and he's in his prime years. Yeah. Why are we gonna waste that? Like I would just be so cutthroat about that. Like how many teams just like flail in obscurity for years because they don't have the quarterback. It's like if we
get my entire life watching the Bills.
Yeah, if we get the quarterback and we know like this is the guy. Like there's no like and we don't know. We got to see. No. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback in this league. I am cutthroat. If you don't get it done with him, you're gone. And I'm going to bring people in. And you see what Dable did with frickin' Daniel Jones. Like,
well, you see what Dable did with Josh Allen the last 2 years. Like last year, he was considered this 1A, 1B with Mahomes at the end of the year. Remember that playoff shootout game? Yeah. You would never see that this year with the play calling. So it's not the personnel on the team. It's the coaches.
Yeah. And like
Plus,
the
we do need the
Pagulas got
offensive
the
line.
Pagulas have lots of money. Like they're good. Like just
the Pagulas are
like,
swimming in cash. So Brandon Bean, let's make a move here, buddy, because we need. Let's call the Eagles after the Super Bowl and get some help from them.
It's like,
get someone.
But like, look at look at these two teams in the Super Bowl. It's like you got Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes, and you've got Nick Sirianni with Jalen Hurts,
and they both have offensive lines.
Yeah, they both have offensive lines, and they're both just like, hey, we need to have a good defense. You can't just disregard the defensive side of the ball. But like, you can't have the guy running your organization be a defensive guy. You just can't.
And especially when the defense looks that way. Like at least if you're a defensive guy, let's look like the 85 Bears. Let's not look like this bullshit that can't stop the run the entire season.
Yeah.
85 Bears.
The 85 Bears.
So good.
Bears.
Such a good reference.
Yeah, we'll dive more into the issues next week. I just had to. You released a little bit of my my built up stress that I had.
Feel
there.
I'm 100% with you, man. I'm like honestly, like what are we doing? Like get somebody in here who can get this guy to his full potential and turn this offense into what it looked like last year and at the beginning of this year.
Yeah. I know the first few games they looked unstoppable, and all of a sudden Ken Dorsey started having little flip outs and he's smashing iPads and doing his little angry dance in the camera.
You're not allowed to do that anymore. You get fined if you smash it.
That is true. It's the Ken Dorsey rule.
It is the Ken Dorsey rule.
Yeah, like look at Joe Burrow with Zach Taylor. Like look at come on. What do we like you don't need. It's not that hard. Like you get the quarterback and you get the coach to go with the quarterback. And if you're not good, if you got Belichick or if you got like a defensive guru whose defense lives up to the hype, then you got to go and get the best offensive coordinator you can find.
And that's why I respect Arizona. They fired Cliff Kingsbury because he wasn't working.
Yes, and you can say what you want about Kyler. Getting Kyler to work is the priority.
Yep. Yeah, the Brandon Bean needs to really take a look at what's happening down there, and he needs to make a move because I don't know. I'm getting sick of this circus, and if Bean doesn't make a move, I think he needs to go next.
All right, we're getting off topic here.
I was like, you guys need to just take a moment, go into a dark room, collect your thoughts, maybe stay there for a couple days.
I went on this rant with you guys like earlier this year. Doesn't it frustrate you like how stupid this is? It's like it's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
No, it's not that hard. It's really, really frustrating.
Like the hardest part is getting the quarterback. Once you have the quarterback, every decision you make after that is making the quarterback as best as he can possibly
Look at Jacksonville. That's like the perfect example.
Go and get Jacksonville. You go and get Dougie P.
Yeah.
My man, Dougie P.
It's literally day and night between him and Urban Meyers. Like,
and what happened? What happened? You put Dougie P with Trevor Lawrence, and you have Herbert with defensive coach Brandon Staley.
And look what happened.
And who won that matchup?
Yeah, look what happened. That's why the Bills need to hire me. Just give me the Madden playbook. I win with them all the time in Madden. I will call the plays. We're good to go.
Brian, at the very
please,
least,
Brian, and then I'm going to call you for tickets. And I'm going to come and I'm going to sit in the heated section, and it's going to be great.
Brian, at the very least, if they put you in charge, you'd have the wherewithal to go, okay, who's the best offensive mind on the market right now?
Yeah.
Come.
I just call Kyle Shanahan and be like, who do you got?
Yeah, or Eric Bieniemy. Steal him from the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring him over. Yeah. All right. Good times.
I need a beer after this.
Good times. All right, my friends. We will be back after the Super Bowl. We're going to do a season review show. I'm looking forward to that. I promise I'm going to limit the Aaron Rodgers as an asshole count to like, I'm only going to say it like 2 or 3 times.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, after that. But
I'll do the rest.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for checking us out, everybody. If you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe button below. We will see you next week.